Hello, my friends. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Today is it is the most lucky day astrologically of the entire year. So even though I've had a crazy week this week, it's Tuesday, yes, but I'm just saying it's been nuts. And we just started school yesterday. And I'm sure so many of you are also in that phase. I decided I was going to release this episode today, even though it's a bit later than I like in the day. So let me talk about why today is so special for you, for me, and for our children at school and everybody else, okay? Some days just have a little extra sparkle, right? They just have a little bit extra something. We don't know what it is, but for some reason, it is just a great day. Now, I've known this day was coming, and I'm sure some of you that are into astrology also knew this day was coming. Or if you follow astrologers, they've been talking about the entire week, which is also not too shabby. But I wanted to talk about why that is. And honestly, if you are listening to this now and wondering why today wasn't great for you, maybe some things that you can do to kind of get that moving along for you so you can experience these types of transits in their absolute fullest. Now, today's episode is not just about the astrology. We are tying in some mindset and some nervous system regulation for you, for yours truly, because I know without a doubt that all of these things are beautiful puzzle pieces that just allow us to have better days and live life to our fullest. So without further ado, first, let me welcome you to this podcast. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. And as always, I love those of you who have been with me for the last 2 years. This has been such a fun journey for me, and I love being able to discover new things, share my insights, and hopefully inspire all of you creatives out there to not only run your business with more ease, but also grow physically, emotionally, relationship-wise to a better, more fuller version of yourself. And I'm so glad to have you here with me. Of course, I'm Aubrey. I am a manifesting generator, and dang it, it shows so much with a lot of Gemini placements and an overall love and abundance in life. And that is because I love to spend my time creating, doing photography, making my podcast, being on TikTok, being in the places that make me happy to share all of the things that I have learned. I am a mindset coach. I am a Reiki master. I've been a massage therapist for 20 years. All of these things add up to a beautiful package. And what can I say? I do not divvy those up. I like to connect them all, and I like to have places where I can share any of those insights with you guys. So today's episode, yes, I wanted to talk about this astrological event that's happening. People say that today and this week in general is the luckiest week of the year. This happens all the time when Venus conjuncts Jupiter. Okay, let me rephrase that. This doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen once a year. Okay, so this is Venus, the planet of love, beauty, pleasure, creativity, relationships, and money. And then Jupiter's expansion, opportunity, abundance, blessings. Okay, so together it's this overall yes energy, magnifying the joy, magnifying chances and connections. And this, honestly, it happens very rarely when you think about it. Once a year, that's about as much as Christmas happens, right? So unless you're like me and you just celebrated Christmas in July. Now, some of you are actually going to listen to this on Tuesday, the day it releases, even though it will be about noon Eastern time. Some of you are going to listen to this Wednesday or even Friday. And I want you to know that even if you listen to it then, I can promise you that you will be able to relate to the vibe, to the energy that's going on in this transit. We can usually feel these transits a few days before and a few days after. So some of you that may have, let's say, certain things in your chart that is being activated because of this transit, you're going to notice more. And especially if you have a birthday around this time, shout out to you guys, you're going to carry this energy with you for the rest of the year, like as in a solar return, okay? So that means this energy will be with you until your birthday next year. So, hey, that's something to be excited about. So as we talk about this conjunction, I wanted maybe make it a little bit more understandable for all of us. So let's just say if Venus is the artist painting beauty into your life, Jupiter is the hype person yelling, make it bigger, make it bolder, make it all the things, right? Add some glitter. Like Jupiter is expanding all of those things that are super beautiful in your world and making them more noticeable. So yes, my friends, the stars are lined up for opportunity, okay? But what I want you to know is that opportunity still needs an open channel to land. This is where I talk more about emotional regulation, intuition, and subconscious clearing, okay? Because if you have blocks happening in your body, you're less receptive to these things in a good way and a bad way, right? It's just pros and cons. But your nervous system, if it's in survival mode, it's harder to receive some of the things that are coming your way today and for the rest of the week and in life in general. Okay, not because you're unlucky, but because you're in defense mode. Now, when I do readings for people, either on a professional basis or sometimes I do them on my TikTok lives, I have to tell you, I can tell automatically who is in survival mode when I tap into that energy. Because there's people out there, they're like wanting to show me a little bit and then it just completely stops. And I'm like, okay, so are you afraid to open up to more? Or is it just that you're so dysregulated that it's impossible for you to allow people, even energetically, to come past that line? I don't want to get off on a little tangent here, but what I mean by that is that when I am doing readings for people, they are already giving me permission to read their energy, okay? It's not like I'm just picking up on people. Of course, you would put up a boundary for anybody because you don't want people just coming into your house, right? But these people actually pay me to come in, or they're allowing me to tap in through TikTok. And of course, those are live for everybody so they can come in if they want. And I always say, once you ask me a question and I tap into your energy, you're giving me permission to see that and to feel that and to understand where you're at. But some people are dysregulated, and some of you listening would fall into this category. Sometimes we don't even realize it, okay? But you're dysregulated, and so when somebody tries to help you with something or something good is trying to come into your life, it has nowhere to go, okay? It's like that saying, if a tree falls in the forest, does anyone hear it? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, okay? I'm not like a philosopher. I'm just Aubrey, but I am saying that sometimes when we don't allow those things to come in, it will leave and go elsewhere. Now, okay, I know sometimes I come off a little weird and a little crazy. I've got this hippie side to me that I just can't. I don't know. It's just me. It's the way that I understand the world. Okay. And I came across this thought process, I would say about 15 years ago, when I had this idea for something super creative, something that I had not seen, period. I had not seen it whatsoever. And I felt like, wow, I could do that. I could bring this to fruition. And when I do, it would be such a big deal because people would be like, oh my goodness, I've never seen this before. It's amazing. What a great idea. But if you knew me, Aubrey, 15 years ago, I was dealing with a lot of health issues, with infertility, with just constant ups and downs, and just really not in a great place to birth a creative idea and bring it to fruition. And so I let this idea pass me by. And I kid you not, within a year, I saw this idea show up in someone else's world, and they ran with it and they played with it and they became very successful with it. And I don't have any regrets around that because I knew what my limitations were at the time. But this idea that things come around, they offer themselves to you. I believe that this is through God, right? God is saying, hey, do you want to try this? This would be a great thing for you. And you receive that information and then you decide if you want to act on it, right? So some of us don't act on it. And guess what? That idea, that thought, it still needs to be birthed. And so it goes to someone else. That reminds me that I read another story about Tchaikovsky, and it was very similar to this. He said, music came singing and echoing through my head A theme in embryo in B flat major took possession of my mind. So that was a quote by him. And then later he said he considered writing a symphony, but he didn't want to rush to compose it. And so the melody just stayed in his mind without being captured on paper. And then he explicitly didn't say someone else composed it, but his implication was clear that the attention and the opportunity vanished and that floating melody remained a story and not ownership and went somewhere else. I wanted to share that with you because I want you guys to know what the implications of living your life with a dysregulated nervous system is and not being open to things. Now, how are you closed up? Well, because life happens. And sometimes we energetically will distrust people in our lives and honestly, sometimes ourselves, and we just close that off. We do it in a way for survival, right? I'm just trying to survive here. I'm not so worried about the details behind it. And honestly, that part is really sad, but we've all been there. 100%. Everybody listening has been there. I've been there several times. And I'll stop it there because I have more to share on that topic. But I just want you guys to understand that when we are just surviving and when we are not filling our cup and giving more to our souls, we definitely are skipping those opportunities. Today is a day for opportunities. This week is a week for opportunities. And so I encourage you, no matter where you're at, to plug into that and see how you can alter your life and how you can be more open to those opportunities you're coming way. Because you know what? There's breakthroughs coming. There's things that seem like miracles. There's luckiness. There's fortunate things. There's an abundance of things coming your way. But can it get in? And that's the question. Here's some practical steps that you can all take today and this week to invite these opportunities and to be present enough to see them. Okay. So first, let's name your joy point. Write down one thing that would bring you delight today. Okay. No matter how small, just do it. Okay. Secondly, we can say yes to something unexpected. If an invitation or idea or a connection comes up, let's listen to that. Let's lean into it. Let's see if we can do something with it, right? Number 3, create without pressure. Okay. What do you want to do? Do you want to paint? Do you want to photograph? Do you want to write without pressure? A lot of people in burnout stage will say this is one of the things that got them out, is to say, what could I create today or this week or this month that I would just love to do? There's no pressure on it. It's a self-motivation project, we'll call it, very personal project. Like, what can you do to help bring that back in? Okay, there's no rules, there's no outcome needed. It's just for you. Number 4, release something heavy. Some of you might feel heavy today, and you might be listening to this and say, wait, this passed me up. It didn't happen for me. My advice to you is to do some breath work, okay? Go outside. Walk barefoot. Y'all know I like walking barefoot outside. My feet are stinking wrangly, okay? But that's because that's what I do. I practice what I preach. Or maybe even you can journal, right? Just create space for something good to come in. When it feels heavy, there's really no space for it, okay? Also, share beauty. Compliment someone. When you are not feeling great, if you say to someone else, hey, I really like that shirt, or your hair looks great, or whatever, and it's very sincere, you open yourself up to receiving things back. Okay, so maybe that's where you start today. Maybe that's all you can do is just to uplift someone else. And I 100% know that that works. It absolutely will change your mind, will change your energy, will allow you to be more open. And it's so simple. Okay. And also remember, Venus and Jupiter love generosity. So they will come in where you are being generous. They will come in. When I finish this and I upload it, this podcast episode, it'll upload around noon. I'm going to get on TikTok. I'm going to do a free group clearing. We're going to see what comes up because I love to be spontaneous and just meet people where they're at. And to me, that is opening me up for abundance in different ways. Nobody's paying me to be there. Nobody's paying me to do this podcast, to be absolutely blunt, but I love to be able to take all this information and give it back to the world. Whoever's listening, whether it's one person, or 500, right? Putting it out there is really the way that I give back and I love on everyone else. So listen, hey, you don't need to be in a perfect place right now. You really don't. But today, even if you feel behind, if you feel broken, if you feel stuck, listen, my friend, you can still let a sliver of light in. Okay. That sliver can become the doorway to the next beautiful chapter of your life. That is how significant this is right now. And one last thing here, my friend, okay? Your life isn't on pause until you fix everything. It's happening. It's happening right now. Okay. Today's energy is proof that joy and opportunity can find you in any season, even this one. So no matter where you're at, I'm sending you love and compassion. And if you need help with any of these, releasing something heavy or allowing yourself to finally say yes to yourself or to a project, I am here for you. You can book one of my one-on-one appointments. You can grab a 4-pack. They are $555 right now. That's 4 hours with me to help you clear up the gunk, to help you reset your nervous system. And if you just had kids go back to school after a long summer, an amazing summer, but a long summer, for sure, maybe it's time you put yourself on that pedestal and you start taking care of your needs too, so they don't spill over into the other areas of your life. I encourage you to snag that. And if you just want to look more into your astrological birth chart, I am also happy to do those readings for you. I will put those links in the show notes. And most of all, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being here and making it easy for me to share with you, because when I hear people or when I see the downloads, I think, oh my gosh, I do need to release more, because people are listening and they do care and they are trying to find inspiration for their daily lives and for their work lives and the family and all of the things. So I really appreciate all of that too. And if this spoke to you in some way, if you feel like you know somebody who needs to hear this message too, pass it along, share it with them. All right, my creative friends, have a beautiful day and we'll talk soon.